The whole concept that I found in Out of Body is past this wall we call sleep, because we think of sleep as unconsciousness. What we're doing, utilizing this Hemisync, is to let the individual have, for the first time, control over his consciousness.
Robert Allan Monroe was far from ordinary. He refused to confine himself to the limits of what most would call a normal life. Instead, he ventured into the unknown, uncharted realms that defied explanation, and returned with insights that challenged the very foundations of how we understand existence. It all started with an experience so bizarre, so inexplicable, that it changed his life forever. One night, as he lay in bed, he felt his body grow weightless. Then, without warning, he began to float, not just above his bed, but far beyond it. Monroe described the sensation as if the walls of his home had vanished, leaving him in an entirely different plane of existence. It was terrifying yet mesmerizing, and he knew instinctively that this wasn't a dream, it was something profoundly real. From that night on, Monroe was driven by an unrelenting need to uncover the truth behind his experience. But his search wasn't just personal. It evolved into a deeper quest to unravel the mysteries of reality and explore the boundless potential of the human soul. The veil between worlds. Monroe's experiences weren't isolated. He discovered that many ancient cultures had described something similar: out-of-body journeys, spiritual ascensions, and otherworldly encounters. From Tibetan monks practicing dream yoga to shamans entering trance states, the idea of traveling beyond the physical world has always been with us. Yet Monroe was different. He didn't inherit these practices through tradition or ritual. Instead, he stumbled upon them as though the universe had chosen him to rediscover a truth long forgotten. The veil between worlds, as Monroe often described it, is not as impenetrable as it seems. He believed that we are all capable of stepping through it, that our consciousness is not bound by the physical body. This belief drove him to experiment, and what he uncovered was astonishing. The Out-of-Body Experience. Later, in 1971, Monroe released a book that would redefine how we perceive consciousness and the limits of human experience. Titled Journeys Out of the Body, this groundbreaking work introduced the world to a term that would soon become a part of the spiritual lexicon: the Out-of-Body Experience, or OBE. At its core, the book was not just a recounting of Monroe's personal experiences, it was an invitation to challenge the boundaries of reality itself. Monroe didn't approach this topic as a mystic or a guru. Instead, he presented his discoveries with the precision of an investigator, meticulously documenting the events that led him to explore dimensions beyond the physical. He recounted the strange and exhilarating moments when he found himself floating above his body, traveling to realms untouched by time and space. For Monroe, these weren't mere hallucinations or dreams. They were vivid, structured experiences, brimming with insights about the nature of existence. The term out-of-body experience offered a language for something humanity had been grappling with for centuries. From ancient shamans and spiritual seekers to the meditative states described in Eastern traditions, the idea of traveling beyond the physical self was not new. Yet Monroe made it accessible, relatable, and modern. He showed that these experiences were not the exclusive domain of mystics or spiritual leaders, but could be explored by anyone willing to open their mind to the possibility. Journeys Out of the Body was more than a book. It was a guide. Monroe outlined the sensations and methods that accompanied his OBEs, giving readers a glimpse into his journey while encouraging them to embark on their own. He described the strange vibrations that signaled the onset of an OBE, the moment of detachment from the body, and the awe-inspiring landscapes he encountered in these otherworldly states. The book sparked a wave of curiosity and debate. Skeptics dismissed it as fantasy, while believers saw it as a validation of what they had long suspected, that the soul is not confined to the body. Scientists, too, began to take notice. leading to research into altered states of consciousness and the phenomena Monroe described. What had once been relegated to the realm of folklore and mysticism now stood at the intersection of science, spirituality, and personal exploration. Monroe's work aimed to bridge the gap between mystical experiences and tangible understanding, offering a framework that resonated with people across cultures and beliefs. He reminded us that the world we see is only part of the story, and that within each of us lies the potential to explore dimensions far beyond the physical. The publication of Journeys Out of the Body didn't just popularize the term out-of-body experience. It ignited a movement, inspiring countless individuals to look beyond their immediate reality and ask, what else is out there? Journeying beyond the body. From a scientific perspective, OBEs are often viewed as altered states of consciousness. Neurological studies suggest that these experiences may involve shifts in brain activity, particularly in regions responsible for spatial awareness and self-perception, such as the parietal lobes and temporal cortex. Modern technologies like functional MRI scans and EEGs have revealed that certain brainwave patterns, particularly theta waves, are commonly associated with deep, meditative or transcendent states, which may correspond to OBEs. Monroe's experiences, however, were not random or fleeting. They were deliberate and repeatable. Through trial and error, he developed methods to quiet his mind and focus his energy until he felt a distinct sensation of detachment, a process he likened to separating from the physical body. This detachment was often accompanied by vibrations or a floating sensation, signaling the transition into what Monroe termed non-physical reality. In these states, Monroe reported heightened clarity and a sense of agency, describing environments and entities that felt every bit as real as those encountered in waking life. This vividness challenges the notion that OBEs are mere hallucinations or dreams. Instead, Monroe argued that these experiences revealed an objective layer of existence, one that exists parallel to but independent of the physical realm. Religious and spiritual perspectives. The idea of accessing non-physical realities is not unique to Monroe's work. It echoes beliefs found in many religious and spiritual traditions. For example, in Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of the astral plane describes a dimension beyond the physical world where the soul or consciousness can travel. Practices like yoga, nidra, and tantric meditation are designed to facilitate such journeys, emphasizing the separation of the subtle body or astral body from the physical form. Similarly, shamanic traditions across cultures describe experiences of soul flight, where shamans enter altered states to navigate spiritual realms, commune with non-physical beings, and gather insights for healing or guidance. These journeys are often seen as traversing in-between spaces, realms that connect the material and the divine. In Christianity, mystics like St. Teresa of Avila and St. John of the Cross wrote about transcendent experiences where they felt lifted beyond the confines of the physical world, encountering divine truths in ineffable light and love. These descriptions parallel Monroe's accounts of non-physical realities, highlighting a universal human yearning to explore and understand the unseen. Monroe's non-physical realities. Monroe's journeys took him to what he described as vivid, structured realms teeming with purpose and intelligence. These weren't random, dreamlike wanderings, but deliberate explorations of dimensions governed by unique laws and populated by entities he sometimes referred to as guides or helpers. These beings appeared to possess knowledge far beyond human understanding and often acted as mentors, aiding Monroe in navigating these unfamiliar territories. One recurring theme in Monroe's accounts was the feeling of being part of a larger cosmic design, In these non-physical realities, he perceived energy flows, vast interconnected systems, and a sense of unity that transcended individuality. This mirrors the concept of oneness found in spiritual philosophies, where all existence is understood as interconnected and stemming from a singular source. Monroe's observations often delved into the nature of the soul and its journey. He came to believe that consciousness persists beyond death, navigating realms that serve as transitional stages or learning grounds. In Monroe's framework, these non-physical realities were not just destinations, but opportunities for growth and understanding. He suggested that by exploring these realms, individuals could uncover the true essence of their being, free from the constraints of physical existence. This idea resonates with the Kabbalistic tree of life, where ascending the Sephirot represents spiritual evolution and a return to the divine source. Bridging science and mysticism. Monroe's personal methods for inducing OBEs connect scientific inquiry with mystical traditions. Robert Monroe's groundbreaking work on human consciousness culminated in the establishment of the Monroe Institute, a pioneering organization dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what the human mind is capable of. At the heart of this exploration was a revolutionary technique Monroe developed called Hemisync, short for hemispheric synchronization. This method not only challenged traditional notions of consciousness, but offered tangible tools for individuals to access altered states of awareness, unlocking profound potentials within the human experience. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, each with distinct yet complementary functions. The left hemisphere is often associated with logic, reasoning, and analytical thought, while the right hemisphere governs creativity, intuition, and holistic perception. Under normal circumstances, these hemispheres operate semi-independently, communicating through a band of neural fibers known as the corpus callosum. While this natural division allows for specialization, it also means that one hemisphere often dominates, depending on the task at hand. This dominance can limit the brain's full potential by favoring one mode of processing over another. Monroe theorized that if these two hemispheres could be brought into perfect alignment or synchronization, it would create a state of whole brain coherence. In this state, the analytical precision of the left hemisphere and the creative expansiveness of the right hemisphere would work in unison, producing a synergistic effect that could unlock higher states of consciousness. The role of sound frequencies. To achieve this synchronization, Monroe turned to sound. He discovered that specific audio frequencies, when presented separately to each ear through headphones, could stimulate the brain to create a third, internal frequency, a phenomenon known as the binaural beat. For instance, if a tone of 200 Hz is played in one ear and a tone of 210 Hz in the other, the brain perceives a beat frequency of 10 Hz, even though it is not physically present. This 10 Hz beat corresponds to brainwave frequencies associated with particular states of consciousness. Monroe found that by carefully calibrating these frequencies, he could guide the brain into specific states, such as alpha waves for relaxation, theta waves for deep meditation, or delta waves for restorative sleep. More intriguingly, certain frequencies seem to induce altered states of consciousness, including out-of-body experiences, heightened intuition, and expanded awareness. This was the essence of Hemisync, using sound to harmonize the hemispheres and unlock the latent capabilities of the human mind. Experiencing altered states. Individuals who used Hemisync reported a wide range of experiences, from deep relaxation and enhanced focus to mystical insights and encounters with non-physical dimensions. One of the most famous applications of Hemisync was its ability to facilitate out-of-body experiences, OBEs, a phenomenon Monroe himself had extensively studied and documented. Participants described sensations of floating, traveling to distant realms, and even interacting with other consciousnesses. In addition to out-of-body experiences, Hemisync was found to be a powerful tool for personal growth and healing. Users reported breakthroughs in emotional resilience, enhanced problem-solving abilities, and a sense of connection to something greater than themselves. Therapists and researchers began to explore its potential for treating conditions like anxiety, PTSD, and chronic pain, as the technology seemed to help individuals access deep states of relaxation and self-awareness. Bridging the gap between science and mysticism. What made Monroe's work particularly compelling was its ability to bridge the gap between science and mysticism. While the concept of hemispheric synchronization might sound esoteric, it is rooted in well-documented neurological principles. The brain's plasticity and its responsiveness to external stimuli, like sound, have been extensively studied in neuroscience. Monroe took these scientific foundations and expanded them, exploring their implications for human consciousness in ways few had dared to imagine. From a spiritual perspective, Hemisync resonated with ancient practices aimed at achieving balance and harmony within the self. Many traditions, such as yoga, Taoism, and Buddhism, emphasize the importance of integrating opposing forces, whether they be masculine and feminine energies, the conscious and subconscious mind, or the physical and spiritual realms. Hemisync could be seen as a modern technological tool that achieves a similar integration, aligning the brain's hemispheres to foster a sense of unity and wholeness. The journey within. The Monroe Institute became a haven for those seeking to explore the depths of their own consciousness. Through workshops, retreats, and research programs, participants could immerse themselves in the transformative power of Hemisync. The process was deeply personal, often described as a journey within, a chance to uncover hidden aspects of the self and to experience reality beyond the confines of the physical world. Monroe's work with Hemisync also inspired broader discussions about the nature of reality and the potential of the human mind. If synchronization of the hemispheres could unlock such profound experiences, what else might the brain be capable of? Could it be that our ordinary perception of reality is just one slice of a much larger, multidimensional existence? These questions, while speculative, point to the enduring legacy of Monroe's work, a reminder that the human mind is both a mystery and a gateway to the infinite. The legacy of Hemisync. Today, the principles of Hemisync continue to inspire researchers, spiritual seekers, and innovators. Whether used for meditation, creativity, or healing, the technology serves as a testament to the untapped potential within each of us. Monroe's vision of hemispheric synchronization was not just about achieving altered states of consciousness. It was about empowering individuals to transcend their limitations and explore the vastness of their own being. In a world often dominated by division and fragmentation, both within ourselves and in society, Hemisync offers a powerful reminder of what can be achieved when harmony is achieved. It is a call to integrate, to balance, and to awaken to the extraordinary possibilities that lie just beyond the ordinary. Many who attended the Institute reported extraordinary results. They described feeling a profound sense of unity with the universe, as though they had tapped into something ancient and eternal. Monroe's methods weren't just about leaving the body, they were about reconnecting with the soul's infinite potential. Reality as an illusion. Perhaps the most groundbreaking of Monroe's discoveries was his realization that reality as we perceive it is an illusion. He argued that the material world is like a projection, shaped by our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. When we understand this, we gain the power to reshape our reality from within. This idea echoes the teachings of many spiritual traditions. The Hindu concept of Maya, for example, describes the physical world as a veil that hides the true nature of existence. Similarly, Buddhist philosophy teaches that attachment to the material world causes suffering, and liberation comes from seeing beyond it. Monroe's experiences offered a modern experiential perspective on these ancient ideas. He often compared life to a school where each experience is a lesson. Our struggles, triumphs, and even mundane moments all serve to teach us something essential about who we are and what we are capable of becoming. But to truly learn, we must look beyond the surface. We must be willing to ask questions that challenge everything we think we know. Monroe's vision. One account stands out as both chilling and profound. Monroe's encounter with a being of light who shared a startling perspective on the nature of life, death, and the universe. According to Monroe, this being shared a perspective that challenges conventional assumptions about our existence. Humans, it suggested, are part of an intricate system where their energy, released at death, is harvested by trans-dimensional beings. These entities, vastly different from us, use the energy to sustain and extend their own lifespans. The universe, as Monroe was told, is not merely a random expanse of stars and planets, but a carefully cultivated garden, a place designed for the growth and harvesting of life energy. This idea of energy being harvested from humans finds echoes in various spiritual traditions and mythologies. For example, ancient Gnostic beliefs describe the material world as a creation of lesser divine beings, sometimes called Archons, who feed off the energy of human souls. These Archons, according to Gnostic thought, manipulate human experiences, keeping them trapped in cycles of ignorance and suffering to sustain their power. Similarly, Hinduism and Buddhism speak of Samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death and rebirth, which some interpret as a form of cosmic entrapment. In these philosophies, liberation, moksha or nirvana, is the ultimate goal, breaking free from the cycle and transcending the forces that keep souls bound to material existence. Monroe's account also bears a resemblance to the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which describes the bardo, the intermediate state between death and rebirth. In this state, souls encounter beings of light and undergo experiences that determine their next incarnation. While the Tibetan text focuses on guiding souls toward enlightenment, it acknowledges the presence of forces that may mislead or entrap them, echoing Monroe's description of trans-dimensional entities with ulterior motives. The metaphor of the universe as a garden is striking. In this perspective, humans are not merely physical beings, but energy-rich entities, growing and evolving in a cosmic environment designed for their cultivation. The concept invites us to reconsider the nature of existence itself. What is our purpose? Are we merely a resource, or is there a greater plan at work? These questions are not new. They echo throughout human history, woven into the fabric of myths, religions, and philosophical inquiries. In Christianity, for instance, there is the notion of a battle between good and evil, where human souls are often described as a prize. The Book of Revelation speaks of spiritual warfare, where divine forces contend against malevolent entities for the fate of humanity. While the Christian framework places this struggle within a moral and redemptive context, it shares the underlying theme of human existence being entwined with higher unseen powers. What makes Monroe's revelation unique is its framing in the language of energy, transcending the symbolic or allegorical interpretations of traditional religious texts. It suggests a universe governed by systems and cycles of energy exchange, where even life and death are mechanisms within a grander design. This view aligns with modern interpretations of quantum mechanics and energy fields, where everything in existence is interconnected, vibrating, and in constant flux. For Monroe, this realization was not just a theoretical exercise, but a profound wake-up call. If the universe operates as a garden and humans are its crop, then our awareness of this dynamic becomes crucial. Awareness, in many spiritual traditions, is the first step toward liberation. By recognizing the forces at play, we can begin to transcend them, reclaiming autonomy over our energy and existence. The teachings of the Sufi mystics resonate with this idea. Sufism speaks of divine unity and the journey of the soul toward oneness with the Creator. Along this journey, the soul encounters veils, obstacles that obscure the truth of its divine origin. These veils, much like the entities Monroe described, serve to keep the soul enmeshed in lower realities. Through practices like meditation, remembrance, dhikr, and surrender, the soul can pierce these veils and return to its source. Monroe's account doesn't paint a picture of despair, but rather one of potential empowerment. If humans are energy-rich beings in a universe of exchange, then the power lies in understanding how to direct and protect that energy. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, and intentional living become tools for navigating this complex cosmic system. In many ways, Monroe's message echoes the ancient spiritual directive, "Know thyself." By knowing our true nature, we gain the ability to rise above external forces and align with higher truths. Ultimately, the vision Monroe shared challenges us to think beyond the physical and consider the deeper, often hidden structures of reality. It asks us to examine not just the world around us, but the unseen dynamics that shape our experiences. Are we mere participants in a grand cosmic cycle, or do we hold the keys to transcendence? The answer, Monroe seemed to suggest, lies within us, waiting to be discovered. The idea of going to the light after death is one of the most universally recognized and comforting notions across spiritual traditions, often described as a passage to peace, love, and unity. However, there exists a contrasting perspective, one that challenges this seemingly benevolent image. According to certain esoteric teachings, the light at the end of the tunnel might not be the doorway to liberation, but rather a carefully constructed mechanism, a soul trap, designed to ensnare us back into the cycle of reincarnation. This cycle, proponents argue, is not a divine plan for spiritual growth, but a harvesting system maintained by higher dimensional beings, often referred to as Archons or other similar entities. These beings in this interpretation allegedly manipulate the afterlife process, presenting the light as a beacon of hope and safety. Drawn to it as moths to a flame, souls willingly move toward the light, where their memories are erased, their essence is recycled, and they are sent back into the physical realm to live another life. The purpose of this system, as these beliefs suggest, is to feed these beings with the energy generated by human life, our emotions, our struggles, our very existence. This perspective echoes Gnostic thought, where Archons are described as malevolent rulers of the material world, keeping humanity imprisoned in cycles of ignorance and suffering. In Gnostic cosmology, the material realm is often seen as a counterfeit creation, designed to trap divine sparks, our souls, away from their true origin. The Archons, as described in ancient texts, are masters of deception, creating illusions to maintain control over these sparks and prevent them from returning to the divine source. In Buddhist philosophy, while not referring to Archons or soul traps, there is a similar notion of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Samsara is fueled by attachment, ignorance, and karma, and breaking free from it requires a conscious effort to transcend these forces. Liberation, or nirvana, is achieved by recognizing and rejecting the illusions of the material world, aligning with truth, and ceasing the causes of rebirth. The idea of avoiding the light as a means to escape this harvesting cycle introduces a fascinating counter-narrative. Instead of following the light, one must remain aware and resist its pull, seeking the true afterlife instead. This alternative destination is often described as a return to the source, a state of oneness with the universe, unmediated by the illusions created by these beings. In this state, the soul is no longer bound by the physical or even the metaphysical traps set to ensnare it. It transcends the dualistic nature of existence and merges with the infinite. The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers another layer of insight into this concept. It describes the bardo, the intermediate state between death and rebirth, as a period where the soul encounters various visions and lights. These lights are not all benevolent. Some are deceptive, leading the soul toward rebirth. The teachings in the book serve as a guide to navigate this realm, helping the soul discern between the true light of liberation and the false lights of illusion. In modern interpretations of near-death experiences, NDEs, individuals often describe seeing a bright light accompanied by a sense of love and peace. While many interpret this as evidence of a benevolent afterlife, others question whether this light might be part of the trap. This skepticism is rooted in the belief that the entities presenting the light are not acting out of compassion, but out of self-interest, ensuring the continuation of their energy source. The choice to avoid the light is not without its challenges. It requires immense courage, awareness, and clarity, especially in a moment as overwhelming as death. Ancient spiritual traditions often emphasize the importance of preparation for death, whether through meditation, prayer, or other practices, to ensure the soul can navigate the transition without being deceived. In this context, practices like lucid dreaming, astral projection, and mindfulness take on profound significance as they train the mind to remain conscious and discerning even in altered states of being. What if this true afterlife is not a place, but a state of being, a return to the unconditioned reality that lies beyond all forms and illusions? This perspective resonates with teachings from many mystical traditions, which describe the ultimate spiritual goal as union with the divine or the dissolution of the individual self into the infinite. In such a state, the soul is no longer subject to external control, for it recognizes its own inherent divinity and the illusory nature of all external forces. This alternative view of death challenges us to reconsider what we think we know about life, the afterlife, and the forces shaping our existence. It invites us to question the narratives we've been taught, to look deeper into the nature of reality, and to take greater responsibility for our spiritual journey. By exploring these ideas with an open yet discerning mind, we may begin to uncover the deeper truths hidden within the mysteries of life and death. The power of the soul. Monroe's journeys also revealed the immense power of the soul. He believed that our consciousness is not confined to our physical bodies, but extends far beyond them. This expanded awareness allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, to influence the world through intention, and to explore dimensions of existence that most of us never dream possible. One of Monroe's most profound realizations was that love is the fundamental force that binds all things. In the non-physical reality, love is not just an emotion, it is the very fabric of existence. Every thought, action, and intention is either an expression of love or a call for it. When we align ourselves with this force, we tap into a power greater than ourselves, one that can transform not only our own lives, but the world around us. Robert Allan Monroe's life was a testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit. He showed us that reality is not as fixed as it seems, that we are far more powerful than we believe, and that the answers we seek are often closer than we realize. His work continues to inspire those who dare to question, explore, and dream beyond the limits of what they know. As we reflect on his journey, we are reminded that the greatest discoveries often lie just beyond the edge of our comfort zones. To follow in Monroe's footsteps is not to escape reality, but to embrace it in its entirety, to see it for what it truly is, a beautiful, ever-evolving mystery waiting to be explored. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.